private side. The private was already very clean. You have often mentioned that buy PSUs when they are absolutely dirt cheap and sell them when they become mildly attractive. Now, given this thermometer that you carry,
welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Remember, we saw a bounce back in the markets yesterday, which showed a good start to the week. The Nifty ended higher after 2 days of correction led by buying in IT, in metals and in power stocks. But will the bounce back be sustained through the week? Is something that we will find out. But first up, the top headlines this hour. Bulls are making a mild comeback on the Lal Street as 19,300 holds for the moment on the Nifty as short covering on private banks and long build-ups on power, software stocks help build momentum on the long side. Overall picture of the market will remain constrained by macro indicators as investors await data from the US Federal Reserve on the ongoing fight with rising inflation. RBI's minutes of the meeting will be revealed on Friday. Very good morning to all our viewers and good morning to you, Shail. Well, just like how I pointed out that the Nifty traded above 19,400 mark for the most part of the day in yesterday's trading action, and that is despite the tepid listing of Jio Financial Services, but it just missed to close above it. However, the 0.4% surge that we've seen in the Nifty is the highest since, August 4 that we've seen on a single day. So what's your sense on the Nifty today? Are we going to see this relief rally continue?
गुड मॉर्निंग साक्षी एंड गुड मॉर्निंग टू ऑल व्यूअर्स. मंगलवार है तो मंगल ही होगा. इस तरीके से अगर हम सोच के चलें तो थिंग्स विल बी बेटर. आई थिंक साक्षी, बोथ ऑन द निफ्टी एंड द बैंक निफ्टी यू आर सीइंग अ सीरियस effort being made to build a base for either better things to come or maybe another downdraft. That will of course depend on macro, which we'll touch a bit later. But if you see how the Nifty first has been performing over the last entire 1 week, and you have the daily chart in front of you, you'll see that a lot of effort has been put in by bulls to maintain parity at somewhere on 50 DMA, the daily moving average, that is around 19,300, 19,250, 19,275. And from then on till about the 10 EMA, which is for the moment acting as a very, very strong resistance. So the daily chart that is in front of you on the Nifty is showing that the Nifty is now moved into a very, very narrow range, and given the two major events that are slated for Thursday, which is the RBI minutes of the policy that was announced on August 10th, where the inflation fears resurfaced, and of course globally the Jackson Hole event whose output will be known on Friday. So Thursday and Friday both being the end of the weekly expiry locally as well as the start of a fresh one on the Lal Street will hold cues to future growth. But at the moment you see the Nifty testing the 50 EMA several times, and we've seen it correct from 20,000 to about 19,200, 250, and yesterday the close was 19,400. So I'm presuming that now the bulls are slowly inching up from 19,250 to 19,300 was tested several times last week, and now 19,300 has emerged some sort of a decent support. And from now on, you see, despite the weakness of Reliance yesterday, which is the second heaviest weighted counter on the Nifty, you see some good traction coming on Nifty. So that's a bit of a plus. But Sakshi, overall things remain bleak. Inflation is worrisome. Fears of higher interest rates remain surrounded on Dalal Street, and the fact that our foreign friends are not buying at all, in fact, have pushed the pedal on the sell side. So yesterday also the number was 1900 crores. So about 12,000, 13,000 crores have been sold as net sales in the month of August alone, and that's harming sentiment. When you look at options data, you will see a very clear support coming in at 19,300, 19,400 for the Nifty, and the resistance remains 19,500. That is also borne on by the charts. Today being the expiry of Fin Nifty, you remember the last stock that we tracked yesterday was Bajaj Finance, and that's the first stock we'll track today. It's the chart is there in front of you. We'll talk about it in a little while, but that's the 2 or 3 stocks that are looking good. Infosys and Bajaj Finance on the Nifty, and RIL at the moment at least is bearish based on yesterday's data. Sakshi.
Absolutely. RIL is bearish, and we will continue to watch out for what Jio Financial Services also does today, second day in a running. Remember, if the first 2 days are constantly on circuit, then these 3 days will be extended by another 3 days as well. So we'll keep an eye out on those too. But the Nifty Bank Shell, that index also snapped this 7-day losing streak as a big relief to all the Nifty Bank traders. But it managed to close above the 44,000 mark as well. Just by a slight margin. But what are you watching out for here today?
So, Sakshi, what's really interesting is that a lot of short covering happened on select banks within the Bank Nifty. There was Kotak there, Axis, both had decent short covering, even on ICICI Bank, and that helped the index move up about 151 points to 44,000. So what's happening at 19,300 on the Nifty is happening at 44,000, 43,800 on the Bank Nifty, which happens to be the 100 EMA. Because of inflation and interest rate fears remaining elevated globally, Bank Nifty is in pain. Yesterday's move was volatile and very choppy. I would remain on the side as far as Bank Nifty is concerned, and if the Nifty moves towards 19,300, 350, probably there is a decent dip by the dip trade on the Nifty. I'll just keep quiet on Bank Nifty, Sakshi. There's really no point getting into a really choppy, really volatile instrument and then getting whipped out.
All right, we will definitely track when the markets open and the pre-open also hits to understand where are the cues really headed on the Nifty Bank front. But from the F&O space, what are you tracking, Shail? Any particular stocks that are on top of your radar today?
I'm sorry, Sakshi, I couldn't hear what you said, but are you asking about stocks to watch in the F&O space?
Absolutely, Shail.
Okay, I can make out from the nod of your head that that's what you're talking about. Let's start with Bajaj Finance till the time the PCR is able to fix up the back-end sound problem. Let's look at Bajaj Finance, and of course today being the weekly expiry of Fin Nifty, Bajaj Finance is the first stock on my radar. And it's a beautiful chart that's been placed in front of you. You can see that it bounced very strongly from its 200-day DMA, and it's a beautiful swing trade in the making. The most immediate high was 7,984, and the stock is at 7,048 in cash yesterday. What's really interesting is that if you see how it's performed on the charts in terms of on technicals, in terms of how situations are placed, it's a very nice short covering that's been seen. The open interest fell about 3% and the stock appreciated 2.5%. What's also really good is that the charts have seen a decent drop, and post that drop on the weekly expiry, you see a very strong traction likely to come in as far as Bajaj Finance is concerned. The other charts that I continue to watch are ITC. a similar kind of setup on ITC as well. Fairly decent correction and decent short covering happening on ITC. Open interest has fallen 4.1%, accompanied by a rise in price, which is 1.3%. And remember, when you see the chart, ITC has been a market darling for both traders and investors. We've seen an all-time high of somewhere like 492, and the stock now taking support on its 100 DMA at 435, 436 2 days ago, and then the bounce. So these are the two stocks that look good. And in the broadest FNO space, L&T Technology Services, wonderful chart again, a breakout happening. You've seen these levels in December of 2022, and that's how it is. So long build up on L&T Technology Services, and at about 4357, I know the ticket size is a bit large, but a nice uptick in open interest, 4.5%, and 4357, possibly a breakout in the next 2 or 3 days. These are the three stocks on my radar, Sakshi.
All right, the three stocks on Shell's radar. L&T Technologies, meanwhile, has also, Morgan Stanley has come out with its report here. However, it maintains an underweight rating with a target price of 3,200. It believes that the margins may have a positive bias in FY24 versus estimates. The management has reiterated the commitment to reach the $1.5 billion revenue run rate by FY25 as well. The current price somewhere around 4,344 at this current point in time. But let's also track the global cues that we have got and handover of. On the Wall Street, while the US stocks did end mixed, with the Dow slightly slipping in trade, but the S&P 500 halted the 4-day drop. The Nasdaq 100 also rose about 1.5%, with Tesla, Nvidia kind of shares moving up the most since March. In yesterday's trading session, about 7-8% of a move is what we saw on an intraday basis, and this was also followed by the other strong move in the other tech stocks too. Remember, in the US, all eyes will remain on the US Fed Chair Powell's speech due later this week at the Jackson Hole Symposium, and following which we saw the Asian markets track the positive cues from US markets. They all are trading up in the morning trade as well, and this is despite the US Treasury yields coming in at a multi-year, almost a decadal high at that front as well, and which is why we are seeing the commodities seeing some softness. Gold, silver, and also oil prices slightly slipping in trade. The GIFT Nifty, meanwhile, has indicated a flat start to the morning session in Indian markets today. Now, the FIs, remember, remained net sellers, just like how Shail pointed out. 1,900 crore rupees were sold off yesterday. In the entire month of August, the sell-off is to the tune of 12,000 odd crore rupees. The DIs, however, have bought shares worth 626 crore rupees as well. Shail, I wanted to understand from you, how important is the queue going to be from Jackson Hole Symposium? And, while we've not seen too much of a link up in the Indian markets and what is being said there, we track it to just understand what kind of cues will come in from the interest rate front from the Fed going forward.
So, Sakshi, the American economy is the global growth engine, and the US Federal Reserve is the world's most powerful economic powerhouse. And whatever the Federal Reserve does, you don't stand in front of it to fight it out. So you accept what they do very calmly, very quietly, with all due respect. And the Federal Reserve is going to fight inflation, and they are going to raise interest rates. That's the sum total of what is going to happen, and that's where the pain lies. We have to accept that US inflation is running amok. You have the presidential elections coming up next year. There is a very, very decent challenger, and that challenger has a better economic sense than what people generally give him credit for, and he's going to rip apart the existing political setup in the US. So the US Federal Reserve is most likely to tighten further. There is another rate hike coming, and interest rates will remain elevated for an extended period of time. Sakshi, that's the sum total.
Exactly, Shail. Let's look at a lot of stocks that will be in focus in today's trading action. Remember, yesterday the Adani Group stocks really moved up quite sharply, and again they will be in focus today. Adani Enterprises shares perhaps will be the most important to track here. The promoter group firm Campus Trade and Investment has raised the stake to 69.87% from 67.65%, and that's between August 7 and 18. And the stock, remember, moved up by 2.5% yesterday to end the day at 26.37. The stock will be in focus again today. Adani Power, meanwhile, it has now targeted 2,100 megawatts of capacity by financial year 2029. That includes the 1,100 megawatt of inorganic capacity. This was a very sharp mover from the Adani basket yesterday. 7% up. It ended higher with at 326 rupees in yesterday's trading action. So we'll keep an eye out on this too. The other few stocks that you should track today include Lemon Tree Hotels, for example. It has signed license agreements for 2 properties in Bhubaneswar and Kasauli under Lemon Tree Hotels and Lemon Tree Mountain Resorts, respectively. And the units are likely to be operational by Q4 of FY25 and Q3 of FY26. Remember, yesterday it moved higher by 3% to end the day at 105. In fact, it was a strong move that we had seen. Almost it was at a record high levels that Lemon Tree Hotels ended the day at. And also, if we see the kind of move that we've seen on this stock, it's moved up almost 8 times from the COVID low of 13.5 rupees as well. So very strong move there. We'll continue to track this. Brigade Enterprises, that's another stock that I'm watching out for, which will acquire 6.5 acres of land parcel in Chennai to develop a residential project as well. The shares ended higher by 1% at 590 rupees as well. Union Bank of India, another stock that you should watch out for today because it's launched a QIP in order to raise about 5,000 odd crore rupees. The floor price will be at 91.1 rupees per share, and the committee will meet on August 24 this week to determine the issue price of the QIP. The shares ended lower by 3% to end the day at 91.8 in yesterday's trading action as well. The other stock that I'm watching out for will be from the cement basket, Ambuja Cements, and of course again from the Adani basket too. Now it's given an open offer for Sanghi Industries to commence. That will commence from September 29, and that stock also will be in focus. 2.7% higher it ended. In fact, the stock has had a very strong move in the last 6 months. It's moved up almost 40% odd. Shail, anything from these current stocks that will you will also be tracking in today's trade?
Sakshi, I'm tracking 3 or 4 stocks that I've already mentioned. I think Devarsh Vakil, Deputy Head of Retail Research at HDFC Securities, is with us, and it's as good a time as any to get some good fundamental view and quality stocks to be added in your portfolio via a systematic investment plan. Mr. Vakil, good morning. Welcome to BTTV. Tell us what looks good to you fundamentally at current levels, and where do you think investors can put in some money post this correction in a SIP format and hold these shares for the long term?
Yeah, so thank you for having me on the show. So though we have corrected, so actually market have not got a deep correction now. Just to take you a little further, we were trading near these levels in October 2021 also. So from 18,604, which we achieved in October 21, yes. Now we are around 22nd August 23, so from 18,600 to 19,400. So over a 22-month period, we have hardly had any growth in the Nifty at a benchmark level, or almost only 3-4% over 22 months. But if you look at the calendar year, yes, we have risen about 15%, and there has been a massive outperformance compared to other emerging markets. Emerging markets are up hardly 5%, but US, in Japan, and other developed markets have also done well. Now, within the indices, at our markets, we have seen a massive outperformance from mid cap and small caps. So mid caps have gone up by almost 27%, small cap have gone up by 32-33%. So there has been a massive rally in those stocks. And I think right now what we are going through is a correction, which is well-deserved correction. And we can continue to trade water for a certain period of time. So as you mentioned, the stocks which we like are to be accumulated over the longer term. These stocks are good for next 2-3 years, and you need to invest in the systematically investment plan. So, what is the first stock which I like? The construction and the real estate contractors is the space where I think EPC player is the space where I feel that there is a lot of opportunity. As we know, we are going into the election cycle. There are some states which are going into election, then eventually culminating into the election of central government, and that's why I feel that the most of the ordering agencies will come out with a lot of orders. All the local and national agencies, there will be a lot of good orders coming into contractor space. So that's where
Yeah, Mr.
KNR
Vakil,
construction.
let's go one by one. Which is the
Yeah. So
yes?
first
Let's
stock which
discuss the stock. You mentioned KNR Construction. Please go ahead, sir.
we like is the KNR construction. It's a specialized player in the road construction. It has backward integration into quarries, into RMC plants. And they have their own equipment and they don't do the subcontracting. So that leads to a better control over the cost and better margins. They have a track record of timely completion. And because of their track record, they have got a lot of bonuses also for early completion of the projects. So they have a pool of about 700 in-house professionals, and with the help of them, they select the right project and do the contracting work. So this company has come out with a guidance of about 44,050 billion dollars of new orders. And based on that, we have a target of about 329. So this is a good stock to accumulate in the declines.
Right. Mr. Vakil, let's discuss this in a bit detail and then we'll go to the next one. In front of you is the chart for KNR Constructions. Remember, it's a very, very sideways trend that we've seen at least from the beginning of March, and at about 255 rupees. The stock is available at a price to earnings multiple of about 14. As rightly mentioned by Mr. Vakil, the stock has corrected over its past so many months. We've seen an all-time high of about 350, 355 coming in somewhere in September of 2021. So that's the high and low range for the stock. Absolutely flat so far, but he very rightly mentions that given the pump priming that economies see in the second half of the financial year and ahead of elections, a lot of government contracts are likely to come up, and KNR Construction is one of the stocks. If you see yesterday's bounce, it was from 200 DMA, and that's the company that we've discussed. Somewhere like 72,000 crores is the market capitalization of KNR Construction. Trailing 12-month earnings are about 506, and if you see the top line, that's somewhere in the vicinity of 4,000 crores, and the peer comparison is also fairly good. So this is one stock which is looking good to Mr. Vakil. Devarsh, which is the other one?
Right. So if you see these signs, we are in the midst of a rise of an economic cycle. And in the first phase of any typical economic upturn, we see that the capital goods or the companies who help build capacities do well. And that's where we have been bullish on capital goods engineering companies. And especially given the upturn in domestic economic cycle, we see the recent quarterly results, we saw that the capital goods, autos did quite well. So one company which is fairly large cap and which we like is the Bharat Forge, which is into the engineering and the various forging suppliers for truck in US markets. What has happened is that over the past 5 years, management have displayed exemplary fiscal prudence. They have recently transformed companies in last couple of years from just a forging company to now a component vendor for oil and gas, power, and aerospace. Apart from that, they have a sizable defense business also. So why we like this company is because they have a good defense order from around 350 crore in FY23. They have given a guidance that defense orders can go up to as high as 1700 crore in FY25. So defense business will ramp up. We are expecting growth in the private vehicles and exports, as I just mentioned. They have also done an acquisition, and that's where the capacity is doubling. The JS Autocast business, there the forging capacity and casting capacity is going double because there is local demand and global demand. And apart from that, they have a good order book in aerospace also.
Absolutely.
There, the business is going to go from 500 crore to 700
Right.
crore. So these are the reasons why I think these four segments are likely to do well in Bharat Forge. So it's a large cap stocks. We don't expect a very large return, but usually 10 to 15% kind of return in a large cap stock is good enough to accumulate over the long term. So Bharat Forge is the second pick from my side.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right. And the stock is already at a record high, very well appreciated by the market, the 4 points that Devarsh made. The good point is that it's showing a very serious rise in profit and profitability. Last 12-month trailing earnings have been at about 590 crores. And because it's so well liked by the market, the price to earnings is already at 77, but a slow and steady performer over the last 10-12 years is what we've seen on Bharat Forge. Let me just give you a CAGR return. Okay, over the last 10 years, the stock, which is Bharat Forge, has appreciated each year by 24%, handsomely beating the S&P BSE Auto Index, which has appreciated 13%, and the mid-cap index, which has appreciated 19% CAGR over the last 10 years. So these are the two stocks that Devarsh is watching. Remember, add via SIP if you like, and always hold for the long term, more than 3 years. Also, please take another opinion if you wish to enter or employ a decent amount of capital in those two stocks. Sakshi.
Absolutely, and Nomura has also come out with its report on Bharat Forge today with a buy rating and a target price of 1157. So another view coming in from Nomura right there. But let's shift focus to the primary market action. Let me also welcome my colleague Pawan Nahar right here. Remember, the Ashish Kacholia-backed Aeroflex Industries IPO is all set for opening for subscription today. So Pawan, give us the details.
Good morning, Shail. Good morning, Sakshi. So IPO market is definitely really very hot, and after Rakesh Jhunjhunwala backed Concord Biotech, it's now for Ashish Kacholia backed Aeroflex Industries to kick off its primary stake sale today. So issue will be open for subscription till Thursday, that is 24th of August. And the company is selling its share in the range of rupees 102 to 108 with a lot size of 30 equity shares. And the company is looking to raise around 351 crores, which include a fresh sale of 162 crores, and promoter SAT Industries will offload 1.75 crore shares. So Aeroflex Industries, actually, so the company is into the manufacturing and supplying of environmental friendly metallic flexible flow solution products. So Sakshi, these products are some kind of replacement for rubber and polymer pipes and tubes, and these products have a multi-purpose utility and caters to numerous industry segments, including firefighting, aviation, and space in the space segment. So the company was formerly known as Suyog Intermediates, and it's headquartered in Navi Mumbai. Aeroflex Industries exports around, you know, it exports in around 85 countries, and it's 80% of revenues derived from exports only. So 50% of shares are reserved for QIBs, and non-institutional investors will get the 15% of allocation, and remaining 35% will go to the retail investors. Talking about VRLMs, Pantomat Capital Advisors is the sole manager to the issue, while Lincoln Time is the registrar. So Sakshi, Anand Rathi, Reliance Securities, Om Capital, SBI Securities all have subscribe rating for the issue. They have cited the unique business model and decent margins as the main reasons to subscribe for the issue. Over to you, Sakshi.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Pawan, for all that update. And let's quickly shift focus to the market pre-open action. You are seeing slight mixed reaction on the Sensex and the Nifty, about 73 points higher on the Nifty at 19,471 currently. There is a dip on the Sensex that is steepening, but it is a wild swing, 236 points lower at 64,979 currently. Shail, what is it that you're watching out for in the pre-opening space?
It gladdens my heart, Sakshi, to see such a strong green tick on the Nifty. Let's see how markets settle from these levels. But fabulous numbers coming in. I'm sure they'll settle down. But only to gladden our hearts, I'll tell you, HDFC Bank 3% higher, 1637. I wish this were true when the markets open. But apart from that, we have Adani Enterprises opening 1% higher in pre-open, 2662. We have, let's go to the main index weights. How are they faring? Okay. ITC, like I mentioned, is the top gainer, 0.7% higher, 451. Reliance in the green, thankfully, 2525. We have a 0.5% uptick on Kotak Bank. So probably the Bank Nifty is showing some traction today, 1770 on Kotak. I want to see what Bajaj Finance is doing. That's the main stock for the day. At the moment, flat 7048. TCS down 1.4%, 3353. Infosys down 0.5% at about 1405. So these are the stocks that are ticking. The first trade's coming on Bajaj Finance, 7050. Flat at about where it closed yesterday. So nothing much here. Let's shift focus to F&O. Let's see where a lot of action is coming in. Bharat Forge, Devarsh pointed this out. It's at the moment the top gainer, 1.4% higher, 994. Remember, this is a record high for the counter. Tata Power, we've been tracking this over the last 2 days, 1.1% higher, 242. Then we have Canfin Homes, 0.8% higher, 748. What's on the red side? Let's see. TCS, 1% lower, 3365. Actually, it's Tata Group stocks. Trent, 0.5% lower, 1990. Tata Consumer, 0.7% lower, 842. Let's shift focus for the moment on NSE 500 cash. Let's look at top gainers, anything that catches my fancy. JM Financials, 3% higher, 82.95. Radico, 2.3% higher, 12.90. Adani Power, 2.5% higher, 334. That's all that I see on the green side. Let the trades settle. And Sakshi, Nifty is now in sensible territory, 46 points higher, 19,440. Let's hope for today 19,400 is tested and it closes in the green and above 19,400. So you'll have the 50 EMA being repeatedly tested and repeatedly strengthened at these levels. Sakshi.
Absolutely. Let's also watch out for some of the other stocks like Lemon Tree Hotels, is that showing some bit of reaction? Of course, the stock was at record highs yesterday and now it has, signed agreements with two players for two properties right there, 1.6% higher at 106.90. So the record high continues there. Let's also look at Brigade Enterprises, Adani stocks also, and see if there is any momentum there. The other stock that we should track in the early morning action is also SJS Enterprises. Apparently, there's going to be a block deal that's expected, about a 30% of equities to see change of hands in the block deal. So Brigade Enterprises up by 4% odd, 615 currently. That's shown some kind of a move on the upside in the pre-opening action. Apart from this, let's look at SJS Enterprises. That's the stock that I'm watching out for because of the change in hands in the block deal. About Evergraph Holdings 29.5%, Sanders Consulting about 0.5%. That's the kind of sale. So 2.8% down at 606. Currently, it's trading down in trade. Devarsh, let me ask you, anything in the pre-opening action that interests you at this point in time? Any stocks that you're watching out for?
PSU banks also need to be kept on radar. I think they have had a decent correction. See, if you see this market, the leadership is from the PSU stocks. The Nifty PSU bank is up almost, the index is up almost 68% from the October 21, where Nifty is up almost about 4%. The CPSC index is up about 40%. So auto, capital goods, and the PSU stocks are the leader of this rally. So whenever we have a correction and we are likely to see a bounce from the lower levels, that's where I think the leadership should take action, and stocks like SBI and other large cap PSU stocks should be on radar. Over a longer term also, I think these are the good areas to do accumulation. Right now, we know that there is a issue with the global macroeconomic environment, and US is trying to engineer a soft landing. But eventually, I think that the this battle over the inflation will be won over the next 1 year, and then again, India's macroeconomic situation is so better than the rest of the world. We may see a lot of money coming into India. India's sovereign rating could get upgraded. We could get included into sovereign global bond indices. So these are the some pointers which you can look forward over the next 6 to 12 months, and that's where I expect a lot of money to come into debt market, and that should help PSU banks. Apart from the upturn in the economic cycle, where the lending will pick up. So I would look at like try to bottom fish into the PSU banks at lower levels.
Right. Thank you, Devarsh, for these wonderful thoughts, and of course, the two excellent stock picks, Bharat Forge and KNR Constructions. We have another guest, Mr. Sudeep Shah, Deputy Vice President and Head of Technicals and Derivatives Research at SBI Securities, joining us. Good morning, Sudeep. Good to have you back. 19,400, 19,300 on the Nifty now getting tested. The 50 EMA seems to be providing a support. Your view on the Nifty and any stock pick that you find interesting at current levels.
Good morning, Shailji, and good morning to all the viewers. Now, see, let's understand first what has happened with Nifty in the last few weeks. We made a top of 19,991, and thereafter steadily have witnessed some kind of a profit booking up to 19,259, and there has been a double bottom at that zone of 19,250. So chartically, one double bottom has already been made. However, what we are seeing in terms of the trend is that last 3-4 days we are seeing a range bound kind of a momentum move. 19,470, 19,490 acting as a resistance on the downside, somewhere closer to 19,270, 19,300 zone index. Holding out that zone on and once again rebounding in the last 3 to 4 sessions. So what we are seeing is after a fall there is a consolidation, a range bound kind of movement, and now also let's add to that the derivative data. 19,300 and 19,350 there is some aggressive put writing happening, while on the upside 19,500 is where the call writers are placed. So for me, once I still feel that 19,250, 19,300 is a very strong support. One should not go bearish at the current levels because the risk reward ratios will not be favorable in going short. And on dips, good quality stocks that are outperforming the market should be chosen. So overall, 19,250, 19,280 important support. 19,450 to 19,500 will act as a resistance. Closer to 19,500 will act as a resistance. And now, if we just add the FII derivative positioning, what we are seeing is that in the last 2 days, FIIs have added calls. They have reduced their short positions. They have added to index futures. And one more thing, that the long short ratio that we track, generally it had dipped to 37-38% long positions out of the total positioning 3-4 days back. But in the last 3 days, it has steadily once again come back to around 40 to 43%. So there has been an improvement in that from that front also. So all is not
right, sir.
like that, and we need. I feel that dips should be used to go long.
Absolutely. The pre-open rates have settled. We have 19,417 on the Nifty, an uptick of 23 points. And the Bank Nifty settled at 44,125, about 123 points higher. The stocks that have settled at days high, of course, Adani Power 333.50. Lemon Tree, with Sakshi is watching, 107. Asian Paints 3200. I have Triveni Sugar 305.65 and Lupin 1091.35. These are the stocks that have settled near their days high, weeks high, or months high respectively in the market. Sudeep, let's do stock hunting. One or two stocks that look good on charts, either technically or based on derivative data.
Actually, the first stock that comes to my mind is Tata Power. Now, if we see, there is a lot of buzz around the power stocks, but this stock had not moved in the month of, say, around, it was in a tight range in the entire month of June and a better part of July. But towards the end of July, we had seen this stock breaking out with volumes. After that, once again, the stock went in a range 230 to 35 kind of range for a better part of the August month. And yesterday, we have seen the entire consolidation range being broken with above average volume and a lot of addition of open interest on the long side. So there's a big breakout which is pending. It's already done, and I feel the stock is headed higher from the current levels. So on the daily and weekly time frame also, the chart structure is very strong. So I feel from the current levels, Tata Power is headed up to 255, 260. And the stop loss could be 232 from the short to medium term perspective. The second stock which I feel is bullish is IDFC Limited. Now, steadily this stock at higher levels, it has consolidated. It has made a very good technical pattern. Now, in the last few days, if you see since 1st of August, since the last expiry, the stock has been trading in a range between 117 to 119, 120. But yesterday, we have seen a breakout on the stock on the daily time frame, and I feel the stock is headed much higher from the current levels. So can be bought with 117 stop loss and 130 target on the upside.
Okay, and IDFC is settling near the month high in the pre-opening as well. So we'll keep a watch out on this stock for sure. Morning to you, and thank you so much for joining in, Sudeep. So let me first ask you on a couple of stocks from the cement basket, if you're watching out for those two. Stocks like Ambuja, ACC, India Cement as well. And of course, there is news flow that Ambuja is going to be giving an open offer for Sanghi Industries. And even Sanghi Industries is a stock that's really rallied about 80% in the last 6 months. So the entire cement pack is really on a strong footing right now. Your thoughts here? Any other stocks that you like from this basket?
See, from the cement stock, if we compare right now, let's just take Ambuja Cement and ACC as the top candidates, apart from Ultratech Cement, which I like. But if we see even ACC and Ambuja, Ambuja Cement is much stronger out of the two. Just for the fact that the momentum in ACC is lacking, and there has been a very good momentum in Ambuja Cement right from the March lows, Feb-March lows. There has been a steady uptick in the stock, and right now as we are speaking, the stock is once again sustaining above its 200 DMA. And if we see ACC, it's still languishing below its 200 DMA, which is one of the major trend decider point of if we have to decide among the trend of a stock, then I guess 200 DM is the simplest measure. And I feel right now Ambuja Cement in the last few days has shown good traction on the upside. And from current levels also, I feel 455 can act as a good support, and the stock can continue its up move above say 495, 500 levels, which is above the previous swing high also. So the momentum is there in the stock, and I feel one can have a look at Ambuja Cement. The another cement name which we like is Ultratech Cement. Now this stock has it has consolidated at higher levels since last 3 months, since the beginning of June, right, between 8,000, 8,050 levels and 8,400 levels. And once again, it is rebounding from the lower zone of the channel. So I feel from the current levels, the risk-reward ratio is quite apt, and one can start adding small positions in Ultratech Cement from a positional perspective.
Right, so we'll look at the open markets now. Nifty's at 19,419, 23 points higher. Bank Nifty opens 100 points higher at 44,095. Let's pay attention to the index heavyweights. What is sticking in the green? HDFC Bank. So it's going to be A Bank Nifty day, 0.4% higher, 1595. Kotak is the second big gainer, 0.2% higher, 1764. State Bank of India, 0.3% higher, 573. Definitely going to be a Bank Nifty day today. And Bajaj Finance, of course, 0.5% higher, 70,084. Remember, today it's the Fin Nifty expiry, and this is the heaviest weighted counter here. What's slipping? Reliance, 0.3% lower, 2513. Axis Bank, 0.3 lower, 949.50. And Infosys and TSCS mildly in the red. Okay. Let's move immediately to F&O, and what are the top gainers? Adani Enterprises 2% higher, 2690. Adani Ports 1% higher, 865. Ambuja Cement 1% higher, 469.15. These are the Adani stocks ticking in the green. Which are the most active, where you see a lot of money moving in? Tata Power 0.7% higher, 241.20. And Power Grid 0.7% higher, 248.80. Let's move immediately to NSE 500. The Nifty is now slipping 16 points higher at 19,411. And the IT index is in the red at 30,950. What else is sticking? It's Adani Power, 4.5% higher, 339.45. At the moment, not only is it the most active counter on the exchange, it is also heralding the move towards par. Apart from that, we have Tata Power 1% higher to 41.40. Lemon Tree 2.5% higher, 108. And we have Union Bank QIP of 5,000 crores, the counter opening 1.5% higher, at about 93.10. This is what we see immediately happening in the market. And let's look at the broader market as well, and then we'll go to Sudeep. Okay. Sakshi, we track 19 indices, all 19 in the green. So 19,300 is proving to be a magic number for Nifty, and 19,400 is where the battle is. The top gaining index is Nifty Metals, Nifty PSU Bank, and Nifty Midcap 100. This is what I see in the first 2 minutes of trade. Sudeep, over to you. One quick call. What do you see interesting?
One stock which is continuing its up move right now is Escorts. Now, if you see Escorts, it has broken above all its moving averages. It's just moving higher and higher, and there's strong momentum in that counter. So I feel the first 15-minute call could be in Escorts. The stock is looking good, and from the current levels also, I feel we can see a move up to 29.40, 29.50, and one can use a support, a stop loss of 28.65, 28.70 on the downside.
Okay. Another stock that I want your attention on, Sudeep, apart from Escorts, is Jupiter Wagons. This stock is suddenly shot up 5% higher in trade. Do you track this stock?
Yeah. So see, Jupiter Wagons, if we see, it has shown a very big movement in the last several months. Now it has been a multi-bagger if you see the stock here from the current levels. Also, I feel we are very our fundamental research team also they are also very bullish on this stock, and the stock from 200 levels in this month itself has gained 50%. So the momentum is there with the stock, and what I feel is from the current levels also the stock is headed much higher. So dips should be used to add this stock from a positional perspective. It might not be an extreme short-term trade because the stock has moved too fast in a short span of time, but from the long-term perspective, I feel this stock can be added at lower levels from portfolio perspective.
Okay, and what about Tata Motors? That stock is also passing in trade right now, and it's up about 0.7% in trade at 625. And we've seen the kind of move that we've witnessed over the last 6 months, 45% up for Tata Motors. Currently at 622, would you still buy the stock?
Yes, actually, I would go ahead and buy this stock because see, what I'm seeing is that once again there is some kind of momentum returning back in the auto stocks. and with Tata Motors having crossed that resistance earlier, in July we had this resistance of 550, 580 levels not being breached since many months. And once that has crossed in the last 25-30 sessions, we have seen the stock moving also up to 650, and once again taking support at 600 and now stabilizing at that level, making this as a very important base. Now 600, 615 zone is becoming a very, very a good base for the stock, and I feel that the stock is headed higher, and the stock could move to 660, 680 in the next few months. But one should keep a stop loss of 600 on the downside for this stock.
Okay, let's watch two stocks. Geo Financials, 5% lower on the circuit at 236.45. Remember, this got relisted yesterday, and this is passive fund selling which is coming in. About 16 lakh shares have been traded so far, and that is also putting pressure on Reliance, its parent. It's contributing the maximum dip on the Nifty, about 12 points, and that's the reason why you see the earlier enthusiasm of the Nifty 40 points higher has now completely flattened out. Actually, it's just 5 points up now at 19,400. Apart from that, there is fantastic moves coming in the entire Adani pack. Sudeep, I'll request you to open the chart of Adani Power. This is at the moment the top traded counter on the NSE 500 and on broader markets. 337. Your view here?
Shailji, if we see Adani Power now, it had fallen from 430 to almost 120 in early Feb. And post that, this is a stellar recovery in the stock. And the stock in the last few days has shown tremendous momentum. And with doing that, see, there is a above average delivery based volumes that are happening in this stock also. And the stock has managed to sustain above its 200 DMA. Plus, what it has done is it has even managed last few days move also shows that it has now crossed its prior swing high of June 8th, which is 286. The stock now has, after crossing 286, which was a swing resistance, the stock has sustained as last 3 days we are witnessing higher top, higher bottom formation also. So I feel that the momentum is strongly on the upside, but since the stock has moved 50-55 bucks in the last 3 days, it could retest 320, 325 kind of support levels. Mind you, the trend is still strong. So that dip should be used to go long from a positional perspective. Overall, 310 will act as a support. And on the upside, we could see levels as high as 365 to 375 on this stock.
Okay, we're discussing about Escorts, and it's now the top gainer in the F&O basket in the auto space, and it's also showing a very strong long build-up right there. Sudeep, your thoughts on Escorts? Can one still buy despite this strong move that we are seeing?
See, there is still a potential of for a 30-35 rupees upside from today's perspective, but all the trend is still strong. So if someone is having a positional perspective, that a trader or an investor can add in dips in parts. But from a day trader's perspective, I feel one should wait for a dip because the risk reward ratio is not favorable. But from a medium-term investor standpoint, I feel any dips in this stock up to 2850, 2870 should be used to go long. The stock can move up to 3100, 3200 in the next couple of months.
Great pick by Sudeep right there, and it's already moving 1.5% up on a monthly chart, also very strong move right there. Another space that I want your attention on, Sudeep, is the new age tech stocks. You're seeing 197 Communications at Paytm, PB Fintech, Car Trade, Zomato. Let's pull up all of these stocks, daily charts, and you're seeing momentum on all of these today. 1% higher for Paytm, PB Fintech also up in trade. But let's look at a stronger move on Car Trade Tech, Delivery, Zomato also up in 3% in trade right now. Sudeep, any of these new age tech stocks that you watch out for, and any specific stock that you look at currently, that looks promising on the charts?
Uh, Sakshi, see, out of all these stocks, I feel see Paytm and Cartrade, they had fallen a lot. And specifically talking about Cartrade, it is still not sustaining above its important resistance, which is 545, 45. Although it is up today, it is up. But I feel from the current levels also, it has to cross above 540, 545 for the downtrend to end, because till then it is just a rebound from oversold zone. But if we see Zomato, now the chart pattern in Zomato is completely different compared to all these other stocks. Here in the last say at least 6-7 months, we are seeing higher top, higher bottom formation. Rest all stocks, there is still lower top, lower bottom formation, not yet negated. So if I see it from a relative strength perspective, then I feel that Zomato could be the pick of the month from current levels also. And it's a very small stop loss that a trader can have from the current levels, around 90 levels, and the stock can move up to 103, 105 in the next couple of weeks.
And Sakshi, this is at such a beautiful price point of below 100 rupees, very high beta, immense liquidity. You can buy as much of Zomato as you like, because tomato prices are really out of whack with reality. So Zomato is what Sudeep ji suggests. Let's shift focus to another part of the market that's really buzzing. We are at 927. It's the defense space. I have in front of me 4 plus 4, 8 plus 3, 11 counters, all 11 of them in the green. We'll start with the two most active and high beta ones, BEL. Sudeep, fresh record high also on BEL, 130.50. Would you chase this momentum?
Yes, I would chase this momentum, because see, if you see like other defense stocks, GRSE, Cochin Shipyard, they have moved 30, 40, 50% in a matter of 3-4 sessions. But if you see BEL, the stock after moving from 100 to 125, 126 odd zone, it has consolidated in the last 3 months between 124 and 128, 130 on the upside. So now post that, any move above 131, 132, I feel it would be a consolidation breakout, say a good 2-3 months of consolidation, and then a breakout, which is actually very positive from a chart perspective. So I feel that, and there is a good buzz around in all the defense names. So BEL being one of the most prominent names stands to gain the most with this sentiment. And I feel any dip towards 128, 127 should be used to buy, and the stock can head higher to 145, 150 in the next few weeks. One should have a stop loss of 120 on the downside.
Okay. Sakshi, apart from this high beta space, what is really ticking well today is the railway theme. IRCON is the top gainer. You've already marked Jupiter Wagons at about 120, 112 IRCON. This one for you, Sudeep. Apart from IRCON, which you will just comment upon, is there anything else that you like in the railway space?
See, yeah, I do like. So if we see IRCON last except yesterday, prior to that 6 trading sessions, the stock was consolidating between 105 and 100 with a say sideways bias. But yesterday we have seen the stock not only breaking the entire range of the previous 5-6 sessions, but the stock has closed at the highest point yesterday at 108, and today we are seeing a follow-up action. So that's a clean breakout on the upside at higher levels after consolidation. So I feel the stock on any dips warrants a good buy from current levels also. 109 will act as an important support till the time 109, which is in fact today's low also, and the highs of the previous two major moves on 9th and 10th of August. So that zone of 109 will now act as a very important support till 109 is guarded. On the upside, we could see this momentum expand up to 120, 122 levels. A second stock which I like from the current levels is RailTel. Now, there is a good move in RailTel. it was, remember, while we had seen RVNL, IRCON move in the month of, say, between March and June, Railtel did not do much of this a positive momentum. But if we see, since July 10th, the stock has broken out above 135, 140. It has straight away moved to 180. Since last 20-25 sessions, once again, we are seeing consolidation in this stock. But from higher levels like IRCON, I feel there could be once again a big move on the upside after consolidation. So on the downside here would be capped up to 165, 164, which is the lower end of the consolidation range. And I feel this stock is headed much higher up to 200, 220 levels positionally from a short-term investment standpoint.
Okay, and let's look at the Nifty right now at the day's high, 8 points high at 19,401 at the current levels. So we'll continue to watch out for the markets, and let's also check some of the stocks that are now trading at record high levels. Some of these we've already marked out for you before. IDFC, widely discussed by Sudeep, and that's moving up. And it's at record high levels. We're also looking at IDFC First Bank, then JBM Auto, Brigade Enterprises we talked about, of course news flow there, and after that a very strong move. It's on a record high. REC has been on a very strong run up, and again today hits another record high level. Praj Industries is also up in trade as well. Your thoughts, Sudeep, on Praj Industries or any of the other group stocks that you would like to mention here? Most of them are showing an uptick now.
See, Praj is in a terrific positive momentum. The stock in the better part of, say, last year, it was in a declining trend. But since June, July, we have seen a V-shaped recovery in this stock, and the stock has not only crossed its important moving averages on the daily and weekly charts, but is also exhibiting a higher top, higher bottom formation also on the monthly charts, which is a very strong sign of a bull run in a stock. And I feel even from current levels, the stock is in good shape, good momentum, can be picked up on dips. 485, 490 levels will act as a strong support. Any dip towards that zone should be bought with 480 stop loss and an upside potential of 545, 550.
Okay. All right.
Let's mark the Nifty. It's already 9:33. Sakshi, just a moment, please. The Nifty is now at day's high, up about 35 points, 19,430. Let's see what are the contributing stocks that have resulted in this kind of a move. Of course, HDFC Bank up about 1/3%. At about we have HDFC Bank at 1595. It's ITC. Sudeep, your very precise and concise view on ITC. At the moment, the best index weight which is contributing to strong gains at about 450.60, up 0.7%.
Shailji, from higher levels, ITC had corrected up to 440, 445 levels. Now 440 and 450 levels. Incidentally, since last few weeks were the zone of highest put writers. The stock had aggressive put writing happening at 450 levels. Thereafter, it shifted to 440 levels, and 440 levels is also the 100 DMA for the stock. So there has been confluence of both these factors, and 440 has acted as a strong support. I feel the stock is trying to recover, and any move above 449. Around 450, if stock sustains above this level, 451, then I feel that the stock is headed much higher up to 460 to 465. So 451, which is very close to the current market price, I feel any sustenance above that zone should be used to go long in this stock, and this can potentially give us good returns in the next few days and could help holding the index on the higher side.
All right, Sudeep, another stock that I wanted your attention on is GMR Airports as well. It's been extending its gaining streak. It hit 52-week high yesterday and it's been on an upward trend. We discussed the railway pack. Let's also discuss the airport space as well. So GMR Airports, if you track this stock, again at 56, 57 odd rupees at 1.5% up in trade. And of course, not just a 52-week high, but a multi-year high coming in on this stock.
Absolutely, the stock is at a multi-year high, and from the current levels, I see the momentum is there in the stock. Chartically, it is technically it is showing higher top, higher bottoms on the monthly charts also, and the trend is pretty strong on the upside. But since the nature of the stock is such that it is a very high beta stock, so any sideways momentum or any correction in the index also could lead to some kind of a fast down move also. So I would rather not go aggressively long on this stock, but try to add this on a dip in parts. So overall 50 to 53 zone will act as a strong support on the upside. We see this momentum holding up to 63 or 66 levels, where there would be next set of resistance on the higher side.
Right. Sakshi, let's do some stock spotting. I'd like the PCR to show KNR Constructions. Remember, this is a stock that was discussed before markets opened. Now at day's high, very, very strong breakout coming in. 261.50. This was Devarsh Vakil's second pick that we are discussing. This price you've seen in March of 2023. So it's a 6-month high that we've seen coming on KNR Constructions. Sudeep, can we get your view on KNR Constructions chart? I'm just requesting you to be very precise and concise.
Yeah, see, KNR Construction has given a consolidation breakout of last 4 months from April. It was trading in a 255, 235 kind of range, and today it has broken out with volumes. Already sustaining on all above its moving averages, we are seeing a good momentum today also. I feel the momentum could continue with 253 as a stop loss on the downside, an important support, and this could move up to 280, 85 in the next few weeks.
Okay, so this is one stock that we are looking at, and of course we'll again mark Escorts. The reason why I point this out is not only was this Sudeep stock pick for today, Escorts is also the top gainer in the automobile F&O space. Record high that you are seeing in, you'll just see the spot moving ahead of futures, and the fact that it's the first 15-20 minutes of trade, and we already have 3.5% fresh additional open interest building up on Escorts. We've discussed this earlier. I just wanted to mark it on the screen. The other stock that's moving higher is Indigo. Your views, Sudeep, on Indigo? At the moment, the price that I see is 24.31 in front of me.
See, Indigo, if we see the stock is, the trend has been on a downside, and I feel it's very close to its important support, which is 2400. So I still don't see any big triggers on the upside. So I feel that one should still wait for this zone of 2460, 2470 to get crossed. At least since last few days, highs need to be taken out for the shorter term downtrend to end. And on the downside also, if we see the stock slipping below 2410, then I feel the stock is headed towards 2320. So it's right now on a weaker footing, and I feel one should wait for a decent reversal in the stock before going long.
Let's look at ITC right now. Shail had pointed out this stock. He was watching it, before the markets had opened, and now it's up by 0.8% at 451.60 in today's trading action as well. And you're seeing a strong move. The kind of contribution it's making to the index is also about 7 odd points currently. Sudeep, on ITC at 451, would you still be a buyer?
Yeah. as we just discussed a couple of minutes back, any move above 454, above 451, the stock will start moving towards 460, 463 kind of levels. And I feel the stock is in a buy zone. Any dips should be used to go long. 440 will be the overall stop loss. Support for the same being the highest put writing zone. And I feel the stock is headed towards 463, 467 in the next few sessions.
And there's a weekly breakout on ITC as well. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. The other space I want your attention on, Sudeep, is the metals pack. A lot of stocks here. Of course, the Nifty Metal is the top gaining index. It's up by 1% today. And you're looking at APL Apollo Tubes, for example, as the top gainer here today, about 4% higher in trade. Hindustan Copper, Adani Enterprises, Hindalco, Vedanta, JSPL, Nalco, all of them up by about 0.5% to 4%. This is the kind of range that you're seeing. But on APL Apollo especially, your thoughts here? We've been seeing a strong momentum on the monthly, on the 6 monthly and even a yearly chart. If we see a very, very strong up move is what we've witnessed on APL Apollo Tubes.
Sakshi, if we see APL Apollo, the stock has been in a very strong uptrend. It has steadily moved against the market. Now, if we see markets have consolidated, a lot of mid caps have even seen some kind of correction from higher levels, but this stock is not showing any bigger signs of correction. And I feel from the current levels also, the stock is in the last few days post this consolidation. Last 3-4 days there was a consolidation in the stock, and today we are seeing a breakout on the upside. So I feel from the current levels, although the stock is very strong, can be bought. 1550 as a stop loss, and 1670 and 1700 on the upside can be witnessed in this for the next few days.
Okay, let's do some market spotting, Sakshi. We've kept our eye on the ball when it comes to the auto space. It's now Maruti and it's Tuesday. Therefore, Maruti in any case has a very, very strong linkage to it. Now at 94.91 at day's high, decent open up built up at about 1.2%. Apart from that, from the power pack, it's rural electrification. Fresh record high here, 242.75. Decent volume coming in today as far as RECL is concerned. HDFC Life, I'm trying to give you stocks across sectors which are moving very sharply. HDFC Life trying to reclaim its previous glory, 642.35. It's the top gainer in the finance pack in F&O. Very decent volume, 42% higher in the F&O space. Let's look at the HDFC Life chart. Sudeep, this is for you. Yes, it's a swing trade in the making, and days high here as well. Cash volumes are already 10 lakhs in front of me. Sudeep, what are the charts on HDFC Life telling you?
If we see this HDFC Life chart from a yeah, am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you, Sudeep. Please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So if you see this chart,
we can hear you clearly, sir. Please continue.
Okay, thank you. So if we see this chart of HDFC Life, last 4 days the stock was in a very small range, very small candles. If we see on the chart, 616 to 625 kind of levels. The last 4 days the trading range it was, and today we are seeing a decent breakout on the upside post this small consolidation. So I feel after a downtrend, there was a small consolidation and now a breakout. So the stock in the next few days can be a good potential candidate for a swing trade. The larger degree trend is on the upside. Post this correction, I feel the stock is once again ready to move on the upside with 625 as a stop loss and 665 to 670 as the potential upside target.
Okay. All right, we'll keep an eye out on this stock also going forward. But let's, just take focus on our corporate radar segment. The company on our focus today is Senco Gold, and we will be speaking to the management very, very shortly. But before that, let's also look at Reliance Industries. It's up at the day's high level right now, so we'll have to keep an eye out on that. Reliance Industries, let's pull up the daily stock of Reliance Industries right now, and we'll also take Sudeep's view on RIL. Sudeep, RIL, we do know that it was subdued amid the Jio Financial Services listing yesterday, and again the stock Jio Financial Services is down 5%, locked in the lower circuit again today. But the RIL stock is improving at the day's high at 25.17. Your thoughts here?
Sakshi, what I feel is that Reliance in the last several sessions now, right in this entire month of August, it has not breached 2500, 2490 levels significantly. And every time the stock dips to 2500 levels, there is a strong bounce back from lower levels because of aggressive put writing, which is positioned there at 2500 levels. So I feel this zone is acting as a very sticky support, and this like a magical number of 19,300 in Nifty, 2,500 is the sacrosanct number for Reliance. And I feel till 2,500 holds, we could see a slow but a steady recovery in Reliance up to 2565, 2570. So while the IT stocks are just languishing on the sidelines, I feel it is Reliance, it is ITC, which could take on the lead to take the index higher towards 19,500, 19,550 levels.
Okay, let's shift focus on our corporate radar segment then. Joining us now is Mr. Suvankar Sen, the MD and CEO of Senco Gold and Diamonds, which is the largest organized jewelry player in East India. Welcome, Mr. Sen, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. This is the first quarterly earnings that you've posted after the listing of your company as well. First up, if you could give us a sense of what demand trends were like in Q1, and do you think this kind of 30% growth that we've seen this time can also be extended for the rest of the year?
So see, the Q1 was driven by multiple factors. Akshay Tritiya was in the month of April. We saw some weddings happening for the summer season. And overall, one very important thing that happened was the HUID hallmarking that became compulsory, which led to consumers coming and exchanging their old jewelry against new jewelry that they want to buy with HUID hallmark. So these were the three factors that led to a very good demand and growth in the Q1. However, I would like to say that the Q1, Q2, Q3, we have usually seen that Q3 is the best quarter for the year, and then it's Q1 and a Q4, and Q2 is a kind of a little slow quarter that usually happens. So I wouldn't advise people to do a extrapolation and do it like 30% for the whole year. There surely will be a growth, but maybe not to the extent that it happened in Q1.
Okay. And what's the outlook fairly? Because this time around it's going to be a long festive season and then the wedding season also for you. Do you expect vis-a-vis last year higher demand this time around, higher growth for sure?
Yes. See, I'll tell you, we had an exhibition called India International Jewelry Show in August, and where we have jewelers from all across the country coming for participating either as a seller or a buyer. And the mood and the sentiment for the jewelry community and the industry overall is quite high. And there is a belief that, yes, consumers will come and buy a lot. There is a festive season in November. The Navratris are in October, and then there is a lot of weddings happening in December. So we are very positive that there will be a good response from the consumers.
Okay, but your EBITDA margins that have shown some kind of a pressure in this quarter. Could you list out the reason behind the same? And I want to understand what is the sustainable level then for your margins going forward?
So we see, the EBITDA margins is dependent on three factors. It's the kind of products that you're selling, where certain products are high gross margin products, certain are low. It is also the channel of sales, whether it's company-owned, company-operated stores which are selling more, or is it the franchisee channel where your margins gets distributed amongst the company and the franchisee, and also the fact that there was a high level of old gold exchange that happened. So what happens there is that since it's a gold to gold adjustment, and there have been offers and schemes given to make sure that the consumers are coming and giving their old gold, not from your company only, but from outside as well. So overall, all things put together, we saw a little bit of the EBITDA margins going a little low. But at the same time, if you look at the positive side of it, that we have seen a very good response in terms of the sales of diamond also. There has been a substantial growth in diamond jewelry sales in terms of value and volume. So this is a quarter one kind of a scenario. I'm sure that over the year, the EBITDA margin will go up like it happened in the previous years.
Right. Good morning, Mr. Sen. Welcome to Business Today Television. And the fact that Sakshi has monopolized the conversation when it comes to a gold retailer is of no surprise to us all. Let's take this discussion a bit further. You've recently listed on the markets. It was a fantastic IPO of 317 rupees per share, and the current market price being substantially higher. So congratulations for that. I just need to understand what is the geographical expansion that is in the pipeline, both in east part of India as also in other markets. Sakshi is of course based in Delhi, and do you have any plans of helping her out with some diamond jewelry or gold jewelry? How about throwing the spotlight on expansion?
Right. See, the expansion is the key factor. When we took the IPO, we raised 405 crore, out of which 135 crore was the partial sale and exit of Safe Partners as a private equity player, and 270 crores is what the company took for expansion. We are very conscious of the fact that East India is our core strength because, the legacy, the trust, our physical presence in East India has been for more than 50 years, over 4 generations. So we will continue to, the leadership position or the strong position that we have in East India, we will continue to focus on there. Like the DMart strategy, we have a franchisee model of entering into the tier 2, 3, 4 cities of the various states where we belong. So in the bigger cities, we would like to open our company-owned, company-operated store, build the brand, and then penetrate into the tier 2, 3, 4 cities. So that will continue to happen in East India as much as possible. And the second focus area for us will be North India. So we look at Uttar Pradesh, the Delhi NCR region, Punjab, and the rest of the North Indian states. We have opened, in the last quarter, we opened 6 stores, 1 franchisee, 5 company and company operated. We opened stores in Bhopal and Indore. So that was our first entry into the MP market as well. So this is how we would like to look at it. We are, conscious of the fact that the customer base is the upper middle class of India. They're aspiring. They want to have good designs. They want to have good products. And, being from the city, the head office and centered in Calcutta, where most of the karigars are making jewelry and the art and the culture and the creativity, with that, craftsmanship and the ability to make great designs, we would like to take it all across the country.
Okay, Mr. Sen, could you?
And Sakshi is rubbing her hands with glee that she'll have the opportunity to shop at Senco in Delhi very shortly. And I absolutely appreciate the fact that the best, how should I say, workmanship in gold happens in Calcutta. I am a privy to that as well. We'll discuss that offline. But a couple of more questions that I have for you, Mr. Sen. Is the transaction that recently happened in the private equity space, Titan, your largest competitor, bought out CaratLane completely. How do you see that impacting valuations in your part of the world, especially listed jewelers? And what are the 1 or 2 points that you take out from this transaction?
So see, Titan is one company. I think the whole jewelry industry, they all have respect and they set benchmarks in certain actions, activities, and the way they operate their business. So this initiative of Titan, I think, is more done with the focus and objective of having the reach out to the younger generation. CaratLane has done a great job in terms of the digital transformation in the industry. And this is a phase of consolidation in which, someone with a very strong offline base, physical stores, is integrating with a player who is very strong online. with a more digital focus. So this is a great, I think, event for the industry, and it will only help the industry to consolidate further and then cater to a wide section of the customer markets. And I think that as an impact of the event that has happened, see, there is so much excitement happening around the jewelry industry. We need to understand what is the reason for the excitement. Actually, it's not just a immediate phase, but the coming 10 to 15 years, where we see that the Indian economy having the opportunity to grow up and grow multifolds. It is with the aspiration of the middle class and the income levels of the middle class that will go up. And then with the rising income, they will be spending more. They will be spending more on luxury, and then jewelry becomes a very critical aspect in terms of the consumption pattern of the consumer. So I think that in the long run, you see 5 years, 7 years, these are all small events happening. The IPO of ours, the way Titan is working, or the other jewelry companies are working. It is just for the future, and I'm confident that this will help the industry overall to move in the right direction.
Okay, Mrs. N, I'll just put in two questions to you. If you could just combine the two and in one answer, because we're running short of time here. One is on the market share. Currently, where does it stand? Where do you see it growing to going forward from here? Second of all, in this quarter, what was the same store sales growth, and how do you see it shaping for the entire fiscal year?
Right. So, see, to answer your first question, the market share for the industry is not very clear. All that we are aware of, as per the crystal rate, the research reports, is that 40% is approximately the share of organized, and 60% is unorganized. And the jewelry consumption is 600 tons, and East India is 15%, South 40, West and North is around 20-25 each. So based on those estimates, you can only come out with a percentage number, but it won't be accurate. So this is how we look at it. But all that we can say is that as organized players, our share of the market and the growth is happening at a higher rate than the unorganized. That is what I can say to the answer of the first question. And to answer the second question, yes, the quarter one, we have seen a very good same-store sales growth. It has been almost in the range of 20-22%. So that means that and there have been new consumers that have been coming to the stores as well. It is not only your old buyers coming back and buying. So this is a good sign, and we hope to continue the momentum and the performance.
All right. Many thanks, Mr. Sen, for being with us, and all the very best for the upcoming few quarters as well. And we shall hope for more interactions going forward also. All the very best to you again, and thank you so much for being with us. Let's quickly look at how the markets are taking shape last few minutes of the show, and you can see 95 points higher on the Sensex at 65,312, the Nifty hovering at 19,430, comfortably up about 36 odd points. Clearly, it's the broader markets that are doing much better. 0.5% gains coming in on the mid and the small cap indices, and the support coming in from the Nifty Bank also, that is also above 44,000 odd mark, currently at 44,074. The PSU Bank supporting the Nifty Bank as well. The private banks also higher in trade. You're seeing all the three constituents of the Nifty Bank doing well at this point. And of course, it's the metals pack that is rallying the fastest, and it is the top gaining sectoral index today. Nifty Metal up by almost 1% right now. Realty follows, and FMCG. We also have oil and gas and auto stocks also buzzing quite sharply. In the F&O basket, of course, the stocks that we've discussed, Escorts Kubota, the top gainer. You're also looking at HDFC Life that we've discussed, Adani Enterprises, that's another stock that is buzzing in trade. We're also looking at Adani Ports as among the top Nifty gainers too. So the Adani basket again on the strong move at the current moment. Shail, anything that you spot before we close the show?
Yes, Sakshi, the first resistance that the Nifty faced was at 19,450. And it's sort of moved down from that level. It's now currently testing 19,400. Things look fine. We've seen the first 45 minutes of trade. HDFC Bank is clicking in the right direction. So's Reliance, as also ITC. So that's good. And I would presume that 19,300, 19,400 is very, very strong support zone that is getting retested and strengthened with every passing hour. And the other interesting thing that I see across the market is that sentiment in high beta is really good, and that decides how bulls feel. We've discussed Adani Power, we've discussed lots of other moves on rail stocks like Ircon, high beta counters like Escorts, Praj at a record high. So I would imagine that the mood and the sentiment in the broader market is doing pretty well, and that is how we should be happy with. Let's see how the day pans out. Today is the Nifty expiry, and things are pretty well on that space as well. Let me just mark a couple of stocks there. Okay, Nifty. HDFC Life is of course something that we've discussed. I'm a bit disappointed with Bajaj Finance today. Not much of a traction seen, but let's see how it pans out. The charts are very, very nice there. A nice swing trade in the work happening. So that's what we have. Nifty flat at 19,390. Bank Nifty up 44 at 44,052. IT in the red, but the broader markets flourishing, Sakshi.
Absolutely. Well, many thanks, Shail, for being with us on the show. And with that, we will wrap up this quick edition, but definitely stay on with us on Business Today TV as we continue to monitor the market movement for you on several of the other Market Today shows during the course of the day as well. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel and also continue to engage with us on other social media platforms where you can continue to track all the news from the world of business and stock markets. Until then, many thanks for tuning in for now.